All right, so all the new vehicles have a lot of plastic, okay? They do it for weight and cost. So these are off a 2013 Ford EcoBoost Generation 1. And the reason I bring it up is this was leaking a bunch of oil. There's a small hairline crack on this. And this is what happens as these age. That's the driver's side, this is the passenger side. This one's not really leaking like that. As they age, they flex and stuff, they can crack. The Generation 2 is more known for it on the driver's side. I bring it up because if you're removing valve covers that are plastic, sometimes it's a better option to replace the valve cover than just replace the gaskets. And in this case, there's not a big difference because there's 5 gaskets right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's a big gasket around the whole valve cover. If you buy those individually, then you gotta pop those out, pop new ones in. The difference between the gaskets and the actual cost of a whole valve cover is like 40 bucks probably difference. You should opt for a new valve cover because you may not see your hairline crack, especially if you're trying to pop it off. They flex and they can crack when you take it off, so when you go back with new gaskets, it's leaking. Well, what happened is it developed a hairline crack. As this stuff ages, it gets hard and the flexing it will break it. So I recommend, if it's in the budget, I almost highly recommend, especially if it's over a certain mileage, if you're removing a plastic valve cover, just put a new one on there if you can, if it's reasonable. You know, if the cover is super expensive, I get it. On this BMW here, the problem with this one is these always leak, these valve covers. Well, the PCV, or the positive crankcase ventilation, is part of the valve cover. If you take this off, you better replace it because these are such a high failure. It can cause, if these are not causing oil leak because the pressure regulations is failed inside of it, it can create further leaks. So on the BMWs, these are pretty expensive valve covers, but it has an internal positive crankcase valve. It's integrated in it, and you're gonna have more trouble going back with this and reusing it than what it's worth. The right thing to do on these that have integrated crankcase ventilation valves is replace the whole valve cover because they're plastic. Because sometimes these things are warped and you put them on, they just never seal right again. So if you're a customer and technician or mechanics like, hey, we recommend a new replacement valve cover, they're giving you good advice. I know they're expensive, but if you go the other route and just do the gaskets and it's a short-term fix, it's leaking again, well, probably because you have too much pressure in the crankcase and that's not working properly and it's pushing the gaskets out or it's creating a leak somewhere else. And that was the whole fault to begin with, was that regulation valve is not working properly. And they fail all the time on European vehicles. It's in a harsh condition. It's in the crankcase it's exposed to all the gases, the chemicals of oil, the fuel that's in the oil. So if they live a hard life, they don't last forever, they're gonna fail at some point. And when they do fail, it plays havoc on the oiling system on that vehicle, so it's best to replace that with the valve cover. So that's the tip today. To the next one. See ya.